Hey, hi Gaurav.
Yeah, hi Vishal. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm also good.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's start with the interview.
yeah, sure.
Okay, could you please give a quick introduction about yourself, your academics, and your professional journey?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Gaurav Chawda from Ujjain. I've been working in EY for around 2 years now. I've been working in Spring Boot, Hibernate, and microservices. Okay, and yeah, so I've done uh, my Bachelor of Engineering from Ujjain only, and yeah, total of 9 years of experience, where six plus is in Java.
Okay,
So, do you want me to proceed about the project?
yeah, you can share any major projects that you work on.
Okay, so I'll brief about them. Like the recent projects, I'll talk about. Like there were recently I worked was smart data comparator, and previously was the smart data pool. So the smart data comparator is working on the smart data pools. Like there are multiple data coming. Means the transactions are happening, and those are stored in different file, like Parquet or CSV and this kind of thing. Then we are fetching it, means pooling it automatically, and converting it to the JSONL, and the smart comparator will uh, compare and process it and create the mismatched data. Yeah, this is the brief.
What are the technologies you use in that project?
Yeah, so the main project, which was the parent of this, is Spring Boot project, and these are Spring projects. We are using core Java here mostly to process the things. Yeah.
Okay, so have you worked on any Spring Boot REST APIs?
Yes, the parent project where I have worked on. Yeah, creating the
Okay,
APIs for handling these things, like fetching the data, putting the data on the database, these things.
okay. Apart from Spring Boot, what are the technologies you have worked on, like database or cloud
Yeah,
services?
I worked on databases like mostly MySQL and Oracle, and some of DBT and MS SQL. Okay, and for the cloud one, I have not much extensive thing, but yeah, I can like create the server and work on that, and create the load balancing, and ELK, and
Okay,
yeah. So not so much like not deployment and this thing I have not done. Other things, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what is the benefit of using microservice architecture over monolith architecture?
Yeah, so this is a very good thing which we have got as a microservice architecture when our application is really heavy. Okay, and with the help of microservice architecture, we can chunk the applications and create and distribute this across across the teams so that they can work on independently, and they can um, uh, then the services can communicate and work it. So the testing has become little easier. They have got their own databases, and dependency is a little less, and with some um, inter-service communications and um, transactions, we can easily handle this. But the one overhead is that it's uh, like we are overhead of merging all this when running, and uh, yeah, so and deployment, yeah. So I think these are the things where in if it is a monolithic, it's huge, but it's simple for deployment. Yeah.
Okay. So what are the four basic building blocks of object-oriented programming?
Yeah, so four basic principles of object-oriented programming are like polymorphism, encapsulation, abstraction, and inheritance. Okay, so the polymorphism is when same method is having multiple work. This is called polymorphism, and these are two types. One is called overloading, and one is called overriding, like the compile time and the runtime polymorphism, so respectively. And so the what the overloading is doing is like it is having different signature and same name. So if we want to do the similar kind of thing, suppose we want to have some, like, suppose it's minimal thing. If you want to like addition, then addition of to float or to integer, like that. If you want to create function, then we can use the method overloading. Okay, and okay, and there is a runtime runtime polymorphism, which is when we are using the classes and the subclass, and we want to uh, override the implementation for those. So few things we'll need to keep in mind, like we can have covariant return type, and we can when we are throwing some exception, then we can widen the exception, not narrow. Okay, and yeah, and um, yeah, then we can override using this at the rate override annotation. This is not uh, necessary, this is not compulsory, but if we use it, the rate override, it's good, so that compiler knows, and if something breaks, then it can notify us, right? And and then comes the encapsulation. In encapsulation, what we are doing is binding the data with the application. Okay, the data and functionality we are binding together. So so in a class, we are using this instance variable and instance members and the instance methods. So with those, we are binding those methods with the binding those variables with the methods, so that we have robust structure that it doesn't w- it does what it's supposed to do, okay, with the encapsulation. And then there is an abstraction. When we talk about abstraction, there are two types of means two ways to achieve abstraction. uh, First is the abstract class, and the second is uh, sorry, the interfaces. And so whenever we want to use these things, then for abstraction we'll write those abstract methods in there, and then we'll implement it, okay. So so that we can use the interface or abstract class as a holder, and it can handle multiple of its childs, okay. The either the implementation or the extension one, okay, extends one. And for the the interface is the one which is called the contract. And when we are using this interface, uh, like with the minimal interface we create, and uh, in the how we use the abstraction with the interface is like the same way as the abstract class, but here we cannot declare uh, uh, the methods, okay. Although after Java 8 we can create the default method. So the use of a default method here is like uh, if somebody is already created this interface and created some implementation, then if we write a method, then it all of those will break. So when we want to implement this thing, so we create this default method, and if the subclasses wants it, then they can override the functionality like that. Yeah. So so these are the main pillars.
Okay. What is the use of static keyword?
Yeah, so the static keyword is used when we want a classes uh, instance member to be not a part of object, but to be shared by all the objects of that class, okay. So so this way, uh, uh, like all the objects of the classes have the same value, so they can all the objects can share this.
Okay. So in Java, like in the main class, uh, the main method is public static, right? So why we need to mark the main method as static?
Yeah, so so one major thing is like I missed like we don't need to create an object of it, right? When we want to invoke a static method, we don't want the object of that class to be created beforehand. So this is because this is very neat that as soon as the class loaded, the static methods will load, and it will it can be called. So so like this is why the main method has to be static, because in the starting there is no object. Yeah.
Okay. What is the volatile keyword?
Yeah, so the volatile keyword is it's used in when we are using multiple threads and we want to share some value across the threads, then we can use this volatile keyword. But it doesn't ensures the thread safety, okay. So we'll have to use it with caution. Yeah.
Okay, what are the different implementation
of
of list?
list. Okay, so
Yeah,
list is like array list is there. Okay, and there is a linked list is there, and array list, linked list, and um, copy on right array list, and list also goes to this. Yeah, so these two things are popular with the lists.
okay. The another is vector. Is also implementation of list.
Yeah,
Okay,
correct.
fine. Okay. So what is the difference between list and set?
Okay, so the list and stake are like uh, so the stake is actually uh, 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 first in, uh, last out. Okay, so this is a fee, uh, last in first out. Okay, LIFO. So so this is LIFO is like and when we are using this list, so it depends on the implementation. Okay, if you are using this linked list, then if you are using this uh, singly linked list, suppose, then you can iterate to any of the object using the head. Okay, and uh, where when we are using the stake, when you do the pop, it will get the last object only. Okay, so this is the internal use case for this, that where you will need such kind of thing, then you will use stake. Okay, and for like when you want to use array list is like the internal data structure is array, so it is index based, and it is fast for searching. Okay, searching in the list. When you want to retrieve more, then you will use array list, and if you want to insert more and traverse less, then you would use this linked list. And apart from this, if you are using this stake, then I have mentioned the use case for this. You want me to share the screen? Okay, so this is public class finally execution. There is a main method which is having finally execution divide 100 by 0, then finally system finally in the main. Okay, so you are saying there are two finalies. Okay, let me copy in the notepad for better readability.
How did you share the screen? It is not visible yet.
Okay, just saying, little got hang. Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible now.
So here what is happening, like you have main method, and there you have done finally in main, and you have another method called divide which is being called in main, which is also having the finally. Okay. So what will happen that it will first go to the finally in divide, then it will go to the finally in main, because the division
Mhm.
we are giving divs 0, so it will cause exception, arithmetic exception, or divided by 0 exception, whichever we can catch it. Okay, but we are not catching any of these, or these kind of things, or runtime exception. So it will populate to here, then it will go to the main.
Mm.
So
And what if we catch that exception and
in
sprint, yeah, in the catch?
sorry for the noise. Suppose we want to catch it here, right?
Yeah.
So arithmetic exception. Suppose
Yeah. And any exception will also be fine.
okay,
So it is divided by zero, so it will be arithmetic exception.
yeah. So suppose we are doing this. Uh, okay, so suppose whatever we want to do here, we'll do. So whatever it is being done here, after that it will go to the finally of divide, and then finally in main.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What is the use of reflection API in Java?
Yeah, so the reflection API is very useful. What we can do is like we can get the constructor, or we can get the class and constructor and the methods in there, and we can create the objects by the reflection. Okay. So suppose suppose there is some use cases where we are writing some code and we want to create some objects, or we want to create something that is to be used later. So we can use this reflection API here. What we can do is like um, suppose we want to get this finally execution, right? So there is a we can get the method, and we will pass this, that we want this divide method. So get method, and we'll say divide, then we will have the reference of this object, and then we can pass this both the variables, and we can run this from the reflection API. Am I able to convey?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So reflection API is basically uh,
Creating calling the
go deep, go deep
API.
into the created object, right? Go deep into the created object and manipulate its members.
Yeah, yes, we can manipulate it, and we can create the objects also if the object is not there.
Okay. So what is the difference between controller and REST controller emulation?
Okay, so the controller and the REST controller. Uh, so so when there is a controller is there, so it is a controller, and when there is a REST controller, so it is a combination of controller and the um, response body. Okay, so so that we don't have to add the response body separately, and um, like we can send the objects and use this. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Uh, what are the different Spring Bean scopes?
Okay, so the beans scope are like singleton. Singleton is there. Then the singleton, in singleton, what happens like only one objects will be there. Okay, and in prototype, uh, and singleton is default also. Okay, singleton will have one object and it will be default, and prototype will be having each time when we call, uh, it's when each time it is referenced, it will have a different object. Okay, and and there is a singleton prototype. Then um, this mostly these are used. Then there is a um, session. um, Actually, I'm not recalling all this. um,
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Fine. What is the use of at the rate primary annotation from Spring Bean?
at the rate primary annotation, yeah. So suppose you have bean. Okay, suppose you have bean, and you are auto wiring it. Okay, somewhere.
Mhm.
Okay, so and there are means there are multiple implementation of that bean. Okay, uh, uh, of that bin. So so we can set that this bean is primary. So if the object of this class is available, then use this only. If this is not available, then go for the other bean when you are not hiring. Yeah, this
And
is.
what if both are available?
If both are available, then it will go for this one only, because
Okay.
this is
And what
primary.
if both are available and I want the second one?
Okay, so then we can do this qualifier. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
and we can specify that which one we want,
Mhm.
or you can set order also. Order one. So whichever is the smaller, it will take that one. So it's not recommended to use order and primary at the same time.
Mhm. Okay. Let me- So I just pasted the code snippet,
Okay.
uh, where I have two arrays, right?
Okay.
And I want to find out whether both these array elements are identical or not,
Okay.
right? So here in A1 we have 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, right? And A2 we have 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, right? So the number of elements are same, but the last element is different. Right?
Okay.
So it is not identical. Right?
Yeah.
But if we replace 4 with 1 or 2 or 3, right, then it will be identical. Right?
Yeah.
So uh, both have 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3 only elements. Then it will be identical.
Yeah.
So if you can write, yeah, if you can write a method to identify.
Okay. So let's just write method, right? Uh,
Yeah. Or you can write down A2 also. Yeah, that is also fine. Just
Sorry.
print the output true false. You can write in the same main method.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. The output should be true if identical and false if not identical.
So so we can sort this first. Okay. And so it doesn't matter, right? That it has to be 1, 2, 3, and then 2 and 1, right? Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Elements should be similar. So
right.
it doesn't matter whether
Yeah.
one repeats for 10 times or 10, 15 times or
Yeah. And which
the
place
element.
they are
If
placed.
one is, if A1 contains 1, then A2 must also contain 1.
Yeah.
Right? How many times that doesn't matter.
Right. So suppose for that, what we want to do is like this is a smaller thing, so we can do um, the loop also. And suppose we create a loop for this one, and check with if it is the same. Then I will check with the set. Okay, so first we'll create. Okay, so the loop will be costly, like okay, so we'll have to sort it first. Sorting is necessary, because otherwise we'll have to iterate for all the thing. And then I'll take the second element. Yeah, so we'll sort it. So arrays dot is list. Okay, so we have list. So list will sort it. Or we can create this stream.
You got the point, right? What you have to do.
Yeah. Actually, there is a list sorting. We can do other types also, but let's do this way. Then we'll do a list dot. And now we have got this sorted. Okay, so once this is sorted, then we can use this. Uh, First of all, we will check the if size is same. If a1 list dot size not equal to a2 list dot size, then we will so so this is the main is so we'll not return because we are writing in main. We will print false. Okay. If size is not same, then we will say false. If the size is same, then we'll proceed. Then we'll say
But uh, the size can be 4, right?
sorry.
So let's say instead of 4, we have 3 and 2, right?
Yeah. So if the size is
So
not same, then we'll write out say that these are not same.
no, but what if size is different, but elements are same?
Okay. Suppose one is repeated and one is there. Okay, we just want to find out that just the number has to be same, not the size doesn't
Yeah,
matter. the
yeah.
the elements.
Elements should be identical.
Okay, the size doesn't matter, just the element has to be there. Okay. Yeah, then this will be um, not good, and then we'll say just the size. If I is less than. Okay, so we'll take first element and um, okay, if we create the loop inside loops, it will be too costly uh, for worst case. So So if we just want to check that, then we'll not need to sort also. uh, okay, so we don't need to sort also, we just need the list. So and then we'll check just like yeah, I think currently I'm not finding some other way.
He, yeah, fine.
Yeah, because I was just thinking that with loop we can like really with two loop it will be very easy, like just for look for each of this and check if the first value is found in anywhere in this list, then the second value then find in any list, like this. But I was trying to get the way where we don't need to use the second loop, so the it is not so heavy, not the n to the power
Mhm.
not n square. That's all.
Uh, yeah, fine.
Yeah, I'm not getting that one. If you want me to write, I'll just complete this code to get all.
Uh, no, no, that is fine. That's okay. No worries. Okay. So, do you know the solid principles?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you
So
please, yeah, explain them in very short?
yeah, so the solid is like a single responsibility principle. Single responsibility principle is like we need to create the classes that does the one thing at a time. Okay, and now with this it is more manageable. And then open close principle. Open close principle is like open for extension, but close for modification. It means that it should be extensible, like we can change means we can extend the things like um, um, for adding more functionality, but close for modification means we should not be able to change it. Then Lisco Barabara principle. Lisco Barabara principle is like the child class should be fully substitutable for the parent object. Okay, and
Mhm. Okay.
interface segregation principle, like it should be very uh, not too heavy, that we cannot implement it. Also, we'll think so long that we have to implement all these things. So it should be in chunks. Okay, so whatever the things we want, we can implement. That means the the one who is using the interface. So chunks is not correct word, but I'm not getting correct word. So it should be in cohesive. Okay, so that all the things in one interface and other things and other. And the dependency injection is like uh, uh, sorry. uh, yeah, so the dependency principle, like it should be uh, the dependency should be on the uh, like higher module should be depending, lower module should be depending on the higher module, not way around. Okay, So for example, if we uh, uh, dependency is like high, for example, like when we are doing this in inversion of control, right? So when we are doing this in inversion of control, so it's not hard coded, right? So the module, it's not depending on the dependencies, and we are injecting this. So this is what it means, like it the classes should not be
Okay.
dependable.
Yeah. Okay. What is the difference between hashing, encoding, and encryption?
Sorry.
What is the difference between hashing, encryption, and encoding? Hello.
Yeah, do you mean async or hashing, are you saying? Hashing.
Hashing,
Yeah.
encoding, and encryption.
Yeah, right. So hashing, encoding and encryption. So when we are doing the hashing, it means like we are suppose we are creating some code from that object, okay. uh, so that if for the same object, if we again create the hash code, then it will be same, okay. So this is the hashing, so it will ensure that the objects are same. And encoding is like suppose we are using this JWT token, okay. um, so so these are encoded, okay. And uh, it's not suppose what we are doing is we are using this URL, okay. uh, we are using this URL, so we are encoding in something, right. uh, so this is called encoding, and this doesn't need password is not needed. And similar to this one, JWT, when we are sending, we encode it. But there is one part, like uh, security key, okay. So this has to be encrypted, okay. um, so this has to be encrypted, and with that encrypted, we'll use this RS 256 or HS 256, so that it's bigger the better, because now 126 are with the higher machines we can fastly decrypt, okay. So for using this higher number is like for with higher machines also, it will be very time consuming to decrypt. So they say like there is nothing which cannot be decrypted, but we make this so higher number that it will take so long that it will lose the meaning of decryption that time. So that's why we are using this 256 bytes encryption. And then we, so for higher security, we will use this encryption. And uh, for sending the data, so that it will be encoded, so we'll use this base 64 encoding. And hashing is just for getting the objects, that if this is the uh, same object, and we can verify. Yeah, hope I'm able to
Okay.
convey.
So let's say I have a hash. So can I get the original value back from the hash?
No, with the hashing, there are like object 1 is there and object 2 is there. Okay. So there is possibility that this both object will yield the same hash code. Okay, but it's not necessary that they will be different. Sorry. Yeah. So we cannot retrieve the object back. Uh, for that we will have to uh, like in encode, yeah, or encrypt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, what is the difference between public key cryptography and private key cryptography?
Public key cryptography and private key. Okay. Uh, for public key cryptography and private key, so what happens like uh, so when we are when we are creating this key, then we are creating in pair. So that one is the public key and one is the private key. And so suppose I am the server and there is a client somewhere. Okay. uh, so the client have created the keys. Sorry, the server has created the keys and given the private key and kept the public key with himself, with the server. Okay. So the public key of this client A is with server. So when the client want to connect with the server, then it will send its private key and it will check if the key is correct. Then it will give the access. It will give the claim like that. Uh, is this what you are asking? I think if there is something other terminology, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What is rapid encryption?
Wrap.
Rapid encryption.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
Mhm. Okay.
I'll get through this
Mm.
after the call. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, what is the triggers in database?
Okay. So triggers are like um triggers are points where uh, like a event, okay, like a trigger in the device, like when some data is put in some table, uh, then it will say that okay, you'll have to trigger this and run this procedure. Okay. So triggers are like uh, a, event to be happen on a particular event. Okay, when particular event happen, it has to run. This is called the trigger. So we'll have to create a trigger while writing the code. We'll code in the um, like a query will write for the trigger, and will show that this time it has to run. And then suppose either on insertion if it's done, or if it is on deletion, like if this is deleted, then this data is also be deleted. That time will run the trigger.
Okay. What is the composite key?
Okay. So the composite key is like um, a key multiple uh, when there are uh, multiple columns are making a key, then we call it composite key. Okay, and if you want to implement this key in Java, like if you want to write a class, then some class is there, and in that class you have some, you want some composite key, so you will embed it here. Okay, so the will kind.
No, that is fine.
So basically, suppose this is class sum is there, and there is we'll create some another class in there, and that has to be the composite key. So we will write this embeddable and embedded. So it will create the column in the table, and this will be the composite key embedded.
Okay. Okay. Um, so let's say I have a REST API, right?
Okay.
And the timeout of my REST API is 2 seconds, right? So if my API doesn't respond in 2 seconds, there will be a timeout.
200 seconds.
Right? Yeah, 2 seconds.
2 seconds. Okay.
Or yeah, or 200 milliseconds.
Okay. Yeah.
So in my REST API, I make a call to 5 different other external services,
Mm-hmm.
right? And those external services have timeout of 1 second, right?
Hmm.
So the internal code of my REST API will take 5 seconds to execute, right? To make a call to 5 different services, it will take 5 seconds, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Plus internal processing of my API, right? It will take more than 5 seconds, right? But uh, I want to keep timeout of my API 2 seconds, right?
Okay.
So how can we solve that?
Okay. So we want all five service to be called, and still we don't want to.
Yeah,
We
still we
don't want.
want to respond in 2 seconds.
Yeah, still we want to respond in 2 seconds, right? Uh, so we'll have to use this parallel calling here, right? Uh,
Mhm.
yeah. So uh, I'm not sure about the code. Okay, but I can tell you like there is to be uh, um, the um, we'll have to import this class and uh, call all this in the parallel, and we can work this. Uh, Currently, I'm not recalling the names.
Uh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you know which API of Java we need to use for that?
API for this will be translation. Uh, uh, are you talking about this um, design pattern which we can use for this? Like
Uh,
uh, if there are the different services, and we can use this. API gateway to call these services, and generally, uh,
Okay. Have you heard about futures?
yes, yes, the features are the object in concurrency. Okay, are used in concurrency when we are using with multi-threading. Okay, and multi-threading. Suppose we want to uh, we want to use this object. Okay, and right, we can use this feature in here. um, okay, so there is a completable feature which we can use. Okay, so in there we will uh, we, we- so so whenever we don't want to wait for this, and it has to be done, and we'll assume that this will be there. So we'll use this computable feature object, and then we can use this. Okay, so um, in the concurrency, uh, recently I had used this, but I'm not getting the syntax.
Okay. Yeah, fine. That's fine. Okay. So yeah, I'm done for the interview from my side. Do you have
Okay.
any questions for me?
Yeah. So, what uh, tech stack we'll be working on?
It depends upon the project. So
Okay.
usually most of the use only for backend.
Okay.
We have some projects also using the React for
Sure.
the cloud services. We are using PCF.
Okay.
For
Uh,
database, we are using Oracle.
Oracle. Okay. So I'll go through that all these things for brush up, and I request you to that, like can you send to whomever you send the uh, feedback, please please send the elaborated one, I request.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Bye. Have a good day.
Yeah, same to you. Bye.
Make sure, okay, he also share the questionnaires which has been asked right in this group. So anybody who is going for next, right, for that particular interview, so they have some details available, right, what are the types of questions being asked in the interview, so they can prep themselves. Any questions? And to be honest, I don't want to take silence as no. I am 100% sure that you guys have questions, like with regards to your bench days, okay, on the project side.
So yeah, Anup. So for the past interview, whatever the question which was asked from the interview,
Hmm.
so can I share for that also?
Yes, yes, please. So for example, if you have gone to for an interview with Morgan Stanley, with TIA, or with any other client, right? My suggestion, just update the client name and just put the question is whatever been asked. And so it's not for the upcoming ones, okay, or where you are going for the interviews. But if you have given any interview in the past also, right, in your dynasties, please make sure you update those details.
Anup, where are we supposed to add these questions?
You
The
can just
details of the